My name is Simon Holm, and I'm in the second year of the IB Diploma Programme, and right now I'm studying mostly mathematics because that would probably be my primary subject of study at university, but I also study physics, chemistry, psychology, Swedish, English, so yeah, I really enjoy it. Often when I get asked why I really like mathematics, I have a hard time to answer that because it is so versatile in very many ways, and for me it kind of describes the logic of the world and gives me almost an explanation to why things are as they are, and to me it's very comforting. And since you can play around with it to such an extent and apply it to so many things in real life, I think it's really useful, and it is also enjoyable to work with. Of course, depending on the level of mathematics that you study, you need to put down a different amount of time. For me, I guess it could be optimally it's 1 hour a day to really get in a regular habit, but often it doesn't turn out to be like that, unfortunately. But I think that in Sweden, a very common philosophy about mathematics is that it is hard and that you're not very good at it. But the problem is that you really need to make an effort if you want to be good at mathematics, and I think that many struggle to get into that mindset because they are so they tell themselves that they are bad at maths, and so they don't even try to really progress in it. So that, I think, is a very relevant reason why people might find mathematics hard. But I also think that that when you do mathematics, you often face challenges. You face big problems. You get really frustrated that you cannot manipulate the figures and numbers in the right way, you know. But there I think that the stamina, the mental stamina really needs to be improved, but there I think some people are a bit lazy, if I can say that without offending anyone. So I think Sweden has something to work with that, but of course there is progress, so there's not only negative things about it. When I study outside school, I usually put, well, could I say 3 to 4 hours a day in total, and usually I distribute these hours evenly on each subject. When I study mathematics, I usually don't have a set procedure. I usually go through the chapter I'm going to study, and then I do as many exercises as possible in that sub-subject or in that field, because I think that in mathematics it is mostly about really getting familiar with all of the expressions, all of the formulas. How do you manipulate the formulas in a way that you can apply it so that you can solve a problem? And to learn that, you really need to repeat and repeat and repeat, and you need to struggle, and you need to get through these problems with frustration so that they really become a part of your backbone. And I think that is very different to when you study subjects for example, psychology. Then it's mostly about memorizing things and remembering things. And for psychology, for example, I use flashcards so that I write down very short words, or even draw small pictures in different colors so that I get reminded about what I should remember. But in maths it's not really like that, because then you have repeated the formulas and all of the expressions to such an extent that you already remember them. What is hard is how to use them to solve the actual problem.
My name is Ivira, and I graduated from the IB in 2015. My favorite subject would have to be history. It was one of the hardest subjects I took, but I found it a fascinating subject since it showed the background of the human race in ways that you could not really imagine, and the extent to which humankind has gone to extreme measures really fascinated me. And it was one of the most actually funny, in a way, subjects, because you see how absurd certain realities at some point of history were. The social science that I studied was psychology, for example, and the techniques that I used were mostly summarizing the material, so taking the syllabus questions and answering them. And we would take different classmates who would do this, and we would exchange the summaries to save time. We also had flashcards in different ways to engage over the material, discussions, and things like that. The natural science that I had was biology, and the way we studied for it was different rewriting techniques, going to web pages like BioNinja, copying the material, because when you write things down you remember them better. Also reading very carefully, highlighting, flashcards, discussing the material. If you don't understand the material, you would have to ask either some of your classmates, because some of the people maybe understand certain parts of the material that you don't, and vice versa. And also asking the teacher when you don't understand the things, discussing it. There's a bunch of things that you can do in order to understand, and that's the key thing in natural sciences, to understand. And also YouTube videos. I swear by Khan Academy. My favorite techniques would have to be rewriting the material and also pre-recording beforehand when I don't have the books or the pen to keep the learning going. So if I'm in the car or I'm on the go, I'm gonna listen to myself, as weird as that sounds, but that was something that I enjoyed doing because it was a different way to get material in my head. But all of this also depends from person to person, so I would definitely recommend finding out what kind of learner you are. I'm visual, that's why I found and kind of oral as well. So that's why I found these techniques specifically helpful.
Thank you very much for this.